I love you. Welcome back to the Couch Potatoes. There's plenty of room here on the couch today or tonight or whenever you are listening to this. I am the Great Traveler from Gorge.
And I am Glenn Allen Mixon, and this is Green and Green Allen. This is Green and Glenn Allen on the couch.
That's right. I've sadly the Faceless Leon couldn't be here any longer, so I found the next closest person.
Yeah,
he sounds just like the Faceless Leon.
It's just we happen to have the same cadence and the same voice, and
the only difference really is you have a face.
I have a face, and it is weird. And Glenn Allen is.
Wait a sec! It just fell off.
What?
You're the Faceless Leon. What the hell?
No. No, I put it back on. I mean, no, this is my face.
I knew that interview felt weird when I ran it a couple days ago.
Damn it! I just want a face. That's all I've ever wanted.
Glenn Allen, what? Mixum?
Glenn Allen Mixon.
Glenn Allen Mixon.
So that it was last month. Our friend had a birthday, and and they gave out. It was a business meeting, and they gave out name tags.
That's right. I remember now.
And all the names were from this Japanese baseball game, but it was the names for the American team. And it was just like vaguely American sounding names, but nobody would ever have these names.
Oh, yeah.
I
have mine still.
Yeah. Sarah's was Sleeve McDykel. McDykel.
Yeah, mine was Anatoly Smorin.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yours, though, could be a name.
I know, right? Anatoly. I loved Anatoly, though.
Yeah,
nice. Yeah, I got no Italian in me. I'm sure I do, actually. I never took one of those ancestry tests. I've been afraid to take them because I might turn out like a gremlin.
Oh,
See what I did there? See how I did that?
Yeah, I see how you did that, but it kind of felt vaguely
like... Makes sense.
Yeah, it did make sense and felt vaguely racist.
Because I'm a green Gortian, I understand.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
I understand. God damn it. All right. Well, no, I mean, that is the thing, is they did base the, what's his name? Chris Wallace, the guy who designed these puppets.
The 23andMe? The puppets.
Yeah. He might have designed 23andMe, who knows? But he did design these gremlins after my people. He stole some files from the government.
Damn, dude. And, what's his name again?
I have Chris Wallace. I have no rights to sue this man because the government has since burned all copies of my confidential files and everything.
So basically what he did was he took the Gortians and mixed them with Yoda.
Yeah. He added ears, basically. We don't have those ridiculous ears, but a lot of the features
are you that furry
similar.
when you're young?
Scary.
Are you furry?
No. That's I don't know where they got that whole bullshit. Oh. That's all mythology. We were born green and ugly.
Do you think that maybe it could be a coincidence? Just possibly. No,
I saw him in the fucking facilities where we were kept. He was a fucking scientist there or something. I don't know. He was in a lab coat. Lo and behold, motherfucker. He also worked on the fly, by the way. I'm just saying,
Gortians aren't the only things that are green.
Yeah, well, he got a lot of other physical traits correct. I will not say which ones. But no, I found out that Chris Wallace, great respect. The man is amazing. He worked on the fly.
Good. He wasn't supposed to work on this project? Is that what you mean?
No. He did. I'm saying that he also worked on The Fly. Okay. The movie The Fly.
Oh, The Fly.
Yeah. The Fly.
I thought you were using
he was not. He was not working off the cuff. You know. Yeah. He also worked on the cuff. I'm just kidding. No, but no, like the man has some great chops. Like the visual effects on The Fly are incredible. The visual effects here with the Gremlins, they did not hold up over time. The red letter media people. Well, they're good in the movies, definitely. Yeah. The red letter media people bought one of the Gremlins, and it basically fell apart.
Oh no!
Because it's just like it's so old. It's like all rubber and latex and weird shit. Like I don't remember how it's made. They have interesting videos on it. If you're interested in Gremlins, if you love them, go check out their not the pitch red letter media, but they've got funny videos about these fucking Gremlins because they bought one. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
but I guess he also was partially responsible for the face melt scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, okay.
So Chris Wallace, amazing visual effects, man.
I thought you were going to say Scanners, and then I'm like,
I know, right?
All of the props that we've been given to Cronenberg belong to this guy, but it's
Cronenberg has vision. I don't know if he's got like all the visual effects stuff. Like I know he does a lot, but like obviously this guy apparently helped him with The Fly, so he's got people surrounding him who all have fucked up minds just like him.
And Chris Columbus wrote this movie. Oh, by the way,
that's right.
This is a potato pick, correct?
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
My very own mother chose this movie.
Oh, thank you, Dalma. Thank you.
Yeah, it's human mother, of course.
So, we're talking about Gremlins and Gremlins 2 and
the new batch.
The new batch, that's correct. And coincidentally, there's like a new show that's currently airing or finished airing.
It finished. I guess it aired back in May through June on I want to say HBO Max, but it's not HBO Max. It's just Max.
That's a lot. I mean, I feel now that I'm just behind the ball. But anyways, I'll probably look into that and hopefully let you guys
maybe
know how that
Who
is.
knows? I loved Gremlins as a kid. These were some of our favorite movies between my brother and myself. I adopted the name Gizmo for most of my young adult life.
Nice.
I don't know why. My brother just called me Gizmo, and it
thought
stuck.
You were cute.
Yeah. He thought I was cute. I think he thought I was annoying as fuck.
And you also looked like them once they
adorable
are
furry Muppet.
Yeah. I was gonna say the green version.
Yeah. Once they get water dumped on them.
It's after
shit ton of robots and puppets and fake shit.
Yeah.
Create this cute little. It's not a Furby, but it looks like a Furby.
It does. It's proto Furby.
Yeah.
This is where
Furby almost certainly stole it from here, right?
100%. This guy should sue Furby. That is not a coincidence.
Unless he created Furby. Maybe it's his company.
Maybe he did. I have no idea.
Maybe he's Google.
He could be Google. Google, thank you for Gremlins. So
thank you, Gremlins.
Thank you, Gremlins, for Google.
Gremlins. What are Gremlins?
Gremlins are these little guys, traditionally in our culture anyways. They are little creatures that fuck up machines for no reason whatsoever. It's a superstition.
Typically, it's well, at least I was gonna say typically, but I guess my knowledge of this is only Looney Tunes. I know it was an Air Force thing. It was a common Air Force idea.
Yes, it was, but that idea, I think, spread from there. But I do think it started in World War One, because the planes, it was really pretty early aircraft, and so they fucked up all the time.
And I only mentioned that too because one of the characters, I think Murray Futterman, I don't remember if he was an Air Force pilot or something, but he definitely has all the superstitions of Gremlins.
He was some kind of he might have been in the Navy, one or the other. But yeah, he definitely feels like he's got some kind of military background, and he has some story about them using parts from Taiwan or something, and they fell apart. He's always
very
going on
anti-foreigner.
About, anti-foreign parts. Anyways,
yeah, he's a wild nut job, but he's a lot of fun. At least
he is. So
we'll appreciate him for that.
In this movie, they use Gremlin to refer to Mogwai. So the Mogwai is this little furry guy that we've kind of talked about, and he is owned. Well, I don't know if grandfather is just what I see him referred to, but Luke.
Mr. Wing.
Yeah, Mr. Wing, thank you. He owns a shop in Chinatown, and he has this Mogwai. Did I do it? Did I say it right?
Furry guy. Mogwai.
God damn it. Well, anyhow, Randall Peltzer. I'm not going to say his name right either.
Hoyt Axton
comes in, and he's like, let me try to sell you some of my crazy inventions that you don't need.
Oh my god, yeah.
And will never use in your life because they're wild. And can you please let me buy that little furry thing for my boy's birthday? My boy who's a grown man, apparently.
Well, yeah, for fucking real. Zach Galligan playing Billy Peltzer is like, I guess maybe he's supposed to be like 16 or whatever.
I don't know,
like
but
26.
he works at the fucking bank. I mean...
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that, yeah.
Like, oh my god. He's got a real job.
Man. Yeah. It's so funny, though. But yeah, I also love the dad, Rand Peltzer, because it's like, literally, all of his inventions have no practical purpose whatsoever. No, it's
the bathroom
so funny.
Buddy. So like, he's got like it's like a Swiss Army knife, but for the bathroom, and like I could not imagine using that razor that's just been like out and about. Yeah,
and there was like a Q-tip on there too. I think it's just like, no, you're not gonna reuse that. Like, no,
that's bad. But and he does have some interesting kitchen ideas. I'll give him that. But his machines
and I love
his
wife is so patient.
Yes, so patient and a badass. Like, I love it.
Yeah, that's true.
When the shit starts going down, she's got an amazing scene. But
yeah, that's Lynn Peltzer, played by Frances Lee McCain.
Thank you. So, what's the kid's name? Billy? Yeah. So Billy gets the gremlin. There's a reason why they started calling them gremlins, and it's because we have trouble. Americans especially have trouble with Eastern words.
Yeah, like Rand is told that they're called a Mogwai. Yeah. That they are not to be don't feed them after midnight. Don't get them wet.
And they hate sunlight.
They hate sunlight. Sunlight can
they
kill
were in
them.
The rules were given in that reverse order. Just by the way, just saying.
Thank you. Yeah, I realized as I was saying it, I was like, nope, that's wrong. But it was fine. I was just like, I knew in my head, I was just like, this isn't making sense to my brain. And that's why. It's because it was the reverse. But yeah, the big one is don't feed them after midnight.
Yeah. Direct sunlight can kill them. But other than that, they don't like bright light. They can be in dim light. So you can see them. And it also just makes the puppetry more, believable.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god.
So
and then like the water, if you pour water on them, as Billy finds out on accident,
yes, it was an accident
through a crazy series of events. When you put water on them, they first they get it's like painful to them. They start going crazy. They start to sizzle a little bit. They bubble and like shit starts to
pop,
like like a protrusion comes out of them, and they just pop like popcorn, and an egg comes out. And it's not an egg. It's a new furry ball of whatever
very
the fuck.
Quickly becomes another gremlin. Very quickly.
Yeah, it's super fast. The whole species makes no sense, but here you go.
And then lastly, if they eat after midnight, which there's too many of these guys to keep track of, so he's unable to keep them away. And Gizmo is a good little boy. Gizmo's a good little boy, and he doesn't eat anything.
Yeah. But he's voiced by the incredible Howie Mandel somehow.
That's right.
Never realized that.
I never would have guessed.
And I had to take a moment too when I was watching the movie, and I was just like, so that's Howie Mandel, and I was like, maybe it's not the Howie Mandel I know. Maybe it's a different Howie Mandel. So like I had to look up Howie Mandel, and I was just like, I went through a lot of his like filmography and stuff, and I was like, you fucking kidding me? Like really? Like it's incredible. Like yeah, it's his voice. He's Gizmo. My whole childhood, I never knew. And I thought he was just the let's make a deal guy or whatever he was, the suitcase dude.
Didn't he have a show on TV when we were kids? A cartoon show? Like, where he was live action and talking to himself as a kid that was a cartoon, and then he'd send the kid off?
Holy fuck. I never watched that, but that sounds trippy and awesome.
Yeah, and then the kid would have like a whole cartoon episode with his family and whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyways.
I'll have to check that out. Like, all I knew about Howie Mandel was that he did the suitcases with the hot ladies, and that he is a neat freak. He doesn't like, I hate using that. That's a bad word, neat freak.
Germophobic. By his own admission.
Yes.
I think he was on American Idol as well. He hosted American Idol.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, we were talking when they eat after midnight, which we'll talk about the second movie here in a few minutes, but they do something beautiful in the second movie, which is question when the fuck is after midnight? Cuz isn't always after midnight sometime Yeah,
and like they're from China, so is it on China time?
Yeah, exactly. Like, whose fucking timeline is this? And when is it no longer after midnight? Like, it makes no sense. But like, when they do eat after midnight, they become evil.
Yeah, first they go into a chrysalis, and then they hatch from that as these scary green things that legit scared me as a kid.
Oh my gosh. The problem though is Gizmo, after he gets water poured on him and creates a bunch of these little babies, they eat after midnight, and
what happens.
That is not what happened. I mean, it would be a completely different movie. Honestly, what stopped them from eating Gizmo? Like, seriously, he doesn't become like a super badass until the second one, which is great. Honestly, like, we'll get there.
So they start wreaking havoc.
They become evil. A bunch of these evil new gremlins start, rampaging the fucking town. The leader-ish is Stripe.
There you go.
He is played by our boy Frank Welker, of course. Like, love Frank. Did a great job there.
Forget to mention before we get too far, Kate, who's Phoebe Kate.
Oh, right, yeah.
Is it Phoebe Cates? I think so.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Phoebe Cates.
Who is Billy's boyfriend. Actually, I think they're just co-workers at this time.
Billy's boyfriend?
Significant other.
I never knew Kate was a man. This whole movie changes. I love her, man. No, yeah, she also works at the bank with him.
They're just co-workers at this time, actually. But she is the love.
And so does Judge Reinhold, which is hilarious.
Yes,
like
Judge Reinhold.
I completely forgot he was in these movies. That's right.
As Gerald Hopkins, he's only in this one, and
that's true.
Whenever his name pops up, I'm like, who the fuck is Judge Reinhold again?
Right? Like, it's such a good name, and it's like it's so clearly implanted in my mind, but like every time I hear that name, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that is. And I'm like, oh yeah, sorry, Santa Judge. Claus guy.
Yeah,
that's
Santa Claus guy.
Brother-in-law.
There was something else that I knew him from that we watched a lot, but I can't name it. But I knew him from that more than I did as Neil. I think Neil is his name, the Santa Claus.
Oh, he's also in Stripes. Did you ever watch Stripes?
I don't think I did.
Bill Murray?
We should watch that sometime.
Oh my god.
We could watch that and Good Morning Vietnam together sometime.
That'd be interesting. Yeah, that was a weird one that, like, I sorry to get off topic of Gremlins. Like, okay, we watched, to keep it slightly on topic, we watched Gremlins a lot as a kid. So did we. And, like, I remember being, like, mildly frightened the first time I watched this by the final form Gremlins, because they're actually kind of scary, and this movie is dark. Like, they are deadly. They are destroying bars. They kill, who's the guy they kill? Is it Glenn Turman playing Roy Hansen? He's like a lab scientist teacher thing.
Yeah, he took one of them when it was still furry to study it. And it woke up in his lab and as its final form and tore him apart.
Yeah. It was like it's honestly a creepy scene. Like it's still funny. Like it's not trying to like be very scary. But as a kid watching Gremlins, I was a little scared. And all I was gonna say was that Stripes was one of those movies that I'm just like I'm kind of surprised my parents let us watch so much stuff as kids, because Stripes is one of those movies that we watched as a kid. And I'm like we probably shouldn't have watched Stripes.
Yeah. War movies, kids. Where's the line? We don't know.
There's also some. I remember some sexy time stuff. There
usually is in war movies of that era.
Yeah.
Well then. So yeah, one person that we didn't mention was Mrs. Deagle, played by Polly Holliday, and while I thought she could have been a fun add to the show, it adds absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I honestly forget who she is.
She is
I don't remember.
The evil old lady who owns most of the town, and she comes into the bank just to complain to Billy about Billy's dog knocking into her snowman, which I don't know that Billy's dog did do that. I don't remember.
Yeah.
And she's threatening to kill the dog. She's threatening to kill the dog, and nobody can do anything about it because she owns the town. And she gets killed by the Gremlins as well. That was a good scene, but I just also felt like they never paid off with whatever they were doing with that. And also, what happened to his dog? Actually, his dad had at the dropped it. His dad dropped it off at some place on his way to this inventor convention. Remember that?
No. There's a lot of the first one I honestly don't remember.
It's funny because I had never watched the second one until now.
Really?
Never.
Oh, wow. Yeah, see, we watched both of them a lot, but I always remembered and loved the second one, whereas the first one, like, even though it's good, even though I really do like this first one, it's just, it's I don't know, it's kind of forgettable. Like, there's some really good scenes that will always stick with me. Like, the obvious, like, the beginning with Gizmo. Like, pretty much the first, like, 20 minutes, honestly. Like, all that's good stuff. Like, when Gizmo first starts to transform, that's great stuff.
Yeah.
The Gremlins, when they get to their final form, that's good stuff. Especially the ending, like with all the bar scene where they're flying around in the ceiling fan.
There's quite a bit of exposition in the movie. Like, just all of the B story at the bank just doesn't feel necessary, and I feel like if Billy was actually a child getting this pet, it would feel better. Yeah, I don't know. This whole storyline doesn't make sense with this one.
It almost feels like a discount Spielberg. Like, I feel like Amblin Productions had something to do with this. Too. I can't remember if they did or not.
Pretty sure I saw Amblin.
Yeah, Amblin Entertainment. Yeah, he produced it. So it's like, it definitely, like, you can feel a Steven Spielberg,
right?
You know,
a touch on there.
But it definitely feels like it's missing those important, like what you just said, like where it's like making the main character a kid. Steven would have done that. I feel like. I think he would have made it a kid. It would have been more touching, more compelling. Like, Yeah, but at the same time, it's like a kid dealing with these fucking gremlins.
No,
I guess there is Corey Feldman in it.
Corey Feldman is in it. That is right. He plays.
They could have just gone Corey, man. Could have just let him have it.
They could have, but he's Pete. And Corey could have done it. But
I forgot
honestly, he might have been too young at the time. This is a pretty young Corey Feldman. This is before the Goonies.
I don't know, like
this is
Before, is it before or after Friday the 13th?
Which one?
I don't remember whichever one Corey Feldman's in. Is he in 4? I think he's in 4.
I thought he was in 2 for a second, but he's just in the 1, isn't he?
Huh?
I thought he was in 2.
I think he's in 4.
In 2 different films. Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I was just like, no, he's definitely not number 2. I was like, no.
He might not even have been born yet.
Yeah.
I do.
He goes bald at the end. He goes crazy.
It's wild.
I love it.
You want to hear us talk about those? All of our episodes are on the FictionWorks 19 YouTube channel, and we have a whole Halloween playlist and a horror franchise playlist where we just talk about Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Halloween. And you can find that there.
It's good stuff. Yeah. It's fun shit.
But these are Christmas movies.
There's also, I didn't mention earlier when I talked Murray Futterman.
Yeah.
But I forgot this is a Christmas movie. It definitely is a Christmas movie.
It is. Dick Miller.
But Murray Futterman, he's played by Dick Miller, the great Dick Miller. Look him up, you'll recognize him. He's in a lot of shit. But then another surprising cast that I didn't even recognize is Jonathan Banks. Jonathan Banks plays...
I did recognize him, actually. I looked at Sarah and I said, I think that's Jonathan Banks. And I don't think I've ever seen him in anything where he's a young man that I've recognized him in anyways. Yeah. But I definitely was like, that guy looks familiar. And then I was like, I think that's fucking Mike.
It's so true, man. Like that was my reaction. Was like I didn't recognize him, but I was like, man, that guy looks so familiar. Yeah. And then I looked up the casting. And I was just like, Mike? Like I didn't even say Jonathan Banks. I just saw Jonathan Banks, and my first thought was like, Mike? Like,
yeah, he plays like a deputy or something, a drunk deputy too. Like he and the sheriff are fucking drunk when they get called out. So eventually, Billy goes to the police and is like, there's these little creatures and they're fucking tearing apart everything. And they don't believe him, obviously. And they're like, it's Christmas, dude. Shut the fuck up. And then they get a call in for destruction and stuff. And they said, and everybody's saying that it's from these little creatures. And then they look at each other and like, okay, kid, all right.
They just don't want to do shit, man. It's
Did their
hilarious.
car? I'm pretty sure they crashed the sheriff car.
I think so. Yeah.
Did they get out?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
That might have been the last of it. They're just done. Like, all right, get them all set.
All right. Well, I'll go ahead with a closing statement. I think this film is a lot of fun. I think it holds up in the classic cult film department. You know. I still enjoyed watching it, but I recognized, with my film critic brain on, a lot of things that I never noticed as a kid that are just like either not necessary to make this film what it is. Like the good parts of this film have nothing to do with a lot of things that happen in the film.
Yeah, the meager parts.
And there might be a reason why, another reason why Holt Axton wasn't in the next movie, but his character also wasn't necessary because he was gone the whole time, but he was the narrator.
It's funny as fuck, though.
Yeah, there was some funny bits with that. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But I give it a full face still.
Nice. I give it 2.5 stars. I agree with you. Like, his character... A lot of the in-between exposition bits, so unnecessary, and it makes this film almost forgettable. Like, when my mom pitched it, I was just like, oh yeah, Gremlins, I forgot about that. I haven't seen that since I was a kid. Like it's gone. Like that was the problem with this movie. Is like,
batch.
but I remember the new batch. I remember that. Like I remembered a lot about the new batch. But like the only thing that really stuck from Gremlins was the nickname Gizmo, which I got. And I wasn't even. I feel like I was more like the final version of the Gremlins as opposed to Gizmo. I was far more chaotic than my brother was. Like my dad would come home and find me reading on the roof, like, and be like, "Why are you on the roof?" And I was like, "I get better light up here." And he's just like, "Get inside! What are you doing? You dumbass!
Get off the roof!"
But no, I get off the fucking roof. Not that way. Go through the window.
You're so picky, Dad.
Jesus. No, I give it 2.5 stars. It's still fun. It's still fine. It's a good family film. Like, but it's dark. It's far darker than it needed to be, and it could have been much more lighter and Spielberg.
It could have, but you know, I don't mind the dark personally, but I don't
either. But the mischievousness of Spielberg, right. You know, like giving it that bit of fun mischievousness. Like there is still that in Gremlins. Right. But it's also very dark.
I feel like they needed to go more one way or the other.
Which they do.
They do both.
Which they do. They do both, and they do it very well, and we'll talk about that.
After a soda pop break. Yeah.
I love you.
I bet that sounds wonderful.
Probably sounds awful. I don't know. I'm tone deaf.
To you.
Welcome back.
Wow. Okay. Just. You still.
Yeah, what were you just doing?
Did you used to listen to Alabama? Is a band, a country band, when we were kids?
My parents definitely did. Yeah. I do not remember
Country Mile
specifics.
Is their big song.
And yeah, I probably do know that one.
It just popped in my head for some reason. It's a good song.
Oh my god, I finally caved and got Spotify, not a sponsor. Even though we're on Spotify. Check us out.
It's not a sponsor.
It's not a sponsor. But I caved and got Spotify though, and I was just listening to a playlist they had made for me, and I was just like, "This is nice." And then like I was driving and everything, and then the song like switched to the next song, and it was a country song, and I was like fumbling so fucking hard trying to get my phone like change it. This sucks. Like I almost had an accident trying to change the fucking song, and then I remembered I could just use my steering wheel because the damn thing's built in. Ugh.
That's so funny.
The new batch.
Gremlins
2.
Gremlins had a sequel. So it was 1984.
Yes. Thank God it did.
Ray Bradbury time when they made the first one. And in 1990, I was -2 years old.
-3 for me.
-3 for you. -3 for your Earth years, if I remember.
Human, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Technically, like, I forgot, I stopped counting, but I think I'm like 83.
Oh, okay. If you say so.
I think I landed back here 83 years ago. I don't remember.
It's all
what
you told me.
Once you get old enough, and like Gaussian memory just kind of fucks up after a while. Like,
I see.
You just kind of hit a.
You guys suffer with senility as well, then.
Yeah. Yes. It's almost a requirement on Gorsh. Like, I mean, you hit a reset after a while. You keep the basics and everything, but most everything else that you have deemed forgettable because you don't remember it, you just like, all right, hit the trash like you do on your email button, and it gets rid of everything that you thought you didn't need. The only problem is we forget if we needed it. So a lot of Gorshins just reset everything,
and nothing happened.
I reset a lot.
Yeah.
I don't remember how old I am.
But that is also why Gorsh has had a long going peace, because everybody forgets to attack.
You think they banish people in times of peace? I was banished. That's another day, though. We'll talk about that some other time.
Some other time. So, Billy...
We got the gang back here.
Yeah, well, at least Billy and Kate.
And Gizmo.
But we're getting there.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So, Billy and Kate have moved to Clamp City, New York City, rather, where this business mogul, his name is Clamp? Daniel Clamp, played by John Glover, like fucking wild performance by John Glover too. And
they were clearly going for a certain other celebrity to parody. I can't figure out who with the name Daniel Clamp, but they're definitely parodying somebody.
Clamp Tower was the best, just in general.
Oh my god!
So they both work at this place. You learn that Billy likes to draw in the last movie, and he's drawing like buildings, architectural designs, and stuff. For these guys. And Kate is on the first floor doing tours in this cute little costume. And anywho, Clamp has decided that he's buying up that little Chinatown that Mr. Wing had his shop in. And he is the last holdout. And then he dies.
Yeah.
And so they start demolishing his building. Gizmo's still inside. Gizmo manages to get out. Little Howie Mandel waddles, out the door. And straight into... What the fuck was his name? The doctor that he fought?
Dr. Catheter.
No, Dr. Catheter's a little later. It's, I found it. Either Martin or Lewis, who work in a lab, but they're played by Don Stanton and Dan Stanton.
They work for Dr. Catheter.
They do work for Dr. Catheter, who is played by Christopher Lee. And, this is actually a redaction from our last episode, the Two Towers episode. He was never knighted until 2009. So this is before he was knighted.
Oh my god, he's still amazing.
He is amazing. And Dr. Catheter
even in this Dr. Catheter, like that doesn't say anything about how comedic Gremlins 2 is. Like
they went wild.
So Gremlins Gremlins 1 has like a Spielberg try, it feels like we're trying to go for like that E.T. mysticism, but it's really dark and more adult. And then, it's Christopher Columbus, it kind of makes sense. Mm-hmm. Gremlins 2 is not written by Christopher Columbus. It's still directed by Joe Dante, but it's written by Charles Haas. And this one feels more like, it has more of like an airplane type of feel. Yeah. Like,
but
Zach Abrams
like a spoof movie. Like, it feels like a spoof movie of the first movie.
Of itself. Yes. And it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so funny. But Dr. Catheter.
Dr. Catheter is running this strange genetics lab in Clamp Tower. And
Clamp Tower.
Martin and Lewis bring Gizmo into the lab to see if it's something the good doctor is looking for. So he's like, "That's very good work, but why are you letting it out of its cage?" Or something like that. So they put it back away, and somehow, someway, Billy ends up there.
I can't remember exactly why, but he goes and rescues Gizmo.
Yeah, out of the lab.
But in doing so, he causes a whole chain of events.
Yes. After
which Gizmo gets watered splashed on him from the fucking janitor.
So this is right after he promises Kate. No, it's just Gizmo. There's no others.
It's just Gizmo.
It's just Gizmo.
No others whatsoever.
I found him in this creepy ass lab, and we just have to get him out.
In my desk drawer.
Please, I put him in this desk drawer. Please go get him. Take him to our apartment. I'm gonna go on a date. And
yeah. A date, not a date.
A date, not a date. it has been put to him as a work outing, but this woman is clearly trying to come on to him just because Daniel Clamp has shown some interest in Billy. And what was the woman's name? I'm trying to find her.
Marla Bloodstone, played by Haviland Morris.
Yeah, and she's got this like very New York accent, and she is all about the job, and apparently
moving up.
She is in 2 episodes of the TV show. I just accidentally found that out.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
that's high. She's only interested in Billy because as you mentioned, Billy's got the boss's attention. She wants the boss's attention so she can move up.
Right.
But poor Kate goes to fetch Gizmo from Billy's desk drawer. But Gizmo has gotten out of the desk drawer, has walked over to the fountain where the janitor is working on a fountain.
Yeah.
And as the stream just starts pouring from the fountain, and Gizmo's just like, uh-oh, and he's backing up out of the way, and he's just like keeps moving around. I'm like, just get the fuck out of there. You know what happens if you get wet, Gizmo? And he doesn't fucking just leave. He just stays there.
Yeah.
He's a mischievous asshole in and of himself.
He is.
He deserved his own torture later on.
Yeah, but then he also becomes a badass, so that's pretty great.
He does.
So
he does, and it's beautiful.
After this point, does Kate... I'm trying to remember. Does Kate bring all of the... What?
No, just fake Gizmo.
Just fake Gizmo. Oh, yeah, she's not really that familiar with Gizmo, so she accidentally grabs the wrong gremlin, and...
Yeah, because Gizmo pops off a bunch of little babies, and one of them looks just like Gizmo, but stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like rolling eyes, obnoxious laughter, like buck teeth.
It's a bad copy.
Very bad copy.
Yeah.
And like Billy sees it immediately, of course. Billy knows Gizmo. But he's just like, oh no, this isn't Gizmo. And he's like, oh,
that
must mean something bad. He's like, that means there's probably 1,000 gremlins by now.
So in fact, these gremlins have multiplied. And given that there's everything in fucking Clamp Tower, they managed to eat after midnight. And as you say, at some point they bring up the clock thing in this.
Yeah. Somebody like, they mentioned the rules. It's just a joke too. It's a throwaway joke. But Billy's just like, you can't feed him after midnight. And somebody's like, well, is that midnight here in America or midnight in China? And he's like, I don't understand the rules. They're just the rules.
They're just the rules. This happened to me in a course of 2 days when I was 16. Fuck off.
A Chinese man told me this stuff. I don't know what he meant.
I just tried to follow the rules and I couldn't.
He told my dad this stuff, and my dad made an invention that told me the stuff. That's not true, but oh my god.
What was I saying? He was explaining, though, that just to jump to that scene for a second, Billy was explaining the gremlins to the security control center for the building, which was headed by Robert Picardo, playing Forster. Anyhow, Robert Picardo, if you don't know, he's in one of the Star Trek shows as a main character. But besides that, we've talked about him once before. I don't remember what in, but he was like a cowboy. It was an older movie, but whatever. Anyhow, he's also just in a bunch of other sci-fi stuff. I think he's underrated, so I just was pointing him out. But also, he is like Clamp's head man over everybody. If Clamp wants something done, he gets it done in the way that Forster wants to get it done. And he probably does things that Daniel Clamp, if he heard about them, would be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, and that's the weird thing about Daniel Clamp too, is they give him like almost a moral side.
Yeah,
like,
he becomes
moral,
like a hero
like
at
innocence.
the end. Yeah,
he has a bit of innocence.
Yeah, he sure does.
It's so weird.
Well, that's your 1980s view on capitalism there.
Yeah. It's like Donald Trump might be. Daniel Clamp might be this complete asshole, but he's a well-meaning asshole.
Yeah, he has
back
plans.
in the 90s. Back in the 90s.
Yeah, he has plans.
Yeah.
For the war.
And like that's his problem too, is just like when he wants to help when the Gremlins start being a thing, when he gets attacked by it especially.
Yes.
He's
After
just like, okay, these are a bad thing.
He knew stuff was going on because people were reporting it to him. And he's like, I don't fucking understand what you're talking about. Everybody's going on about these little fucking things, and just take care of it.
And then
his fucking
the image of his business became in question, in peril, and he was just like, well, we have to protect the image of the business. We can't let this get out and be known as a Clamp thing,
Right? Yeah,
like,
it has to be handled in. So he sends Forster and Billy out together to take care of it. And it's hard to follow what exactly happens on their side of things.
It's just mayhem.
It becomes
all
mayhem because the Gremlins have found the lab that Gizmo was in, and have started
Catheter's lab.
Yeah, Catheter's lab, and they have started devouring all the different genetic experiments that were going on. And transforming.
Becoming like X-Men.
Yeah, they're just fucking becoming different sci-fi characters. And it's ridiculous. Like, one of them becomes like fucking vegetables. Like, that one blew my mind. I'm like, what? What are they doing?
Yeah, one gremlin just became complete electricity. And started flying through the electrical systems of the building. Another one became super smart.
Yes.
And which one was that? Who voiced that?
It was voiced by Tony Randall, or Randall.
Thank you.
And they call it Brain Gremlin. And so he is the only one that is like intelligent enough to be aware that they are being driven by like some kind of chemical instinctual drive to do mayhem and chaos. And he's like, but what do we really want? And he's like, has this interview scene with a vampire actor. I forget the character's name.
I forgot about that guy.
But he so there's also a TV station in Clamp Tower. And this guy does like a Dracula theater time kind of thing. Is showing scary movies at 3 a.m., which is a terrible time. And all he's ever wanted to do is to be a reporter. So when this shit happens, he sees his opportunity. He grabs this tourist that happens to have a camera and just goes for it. And he's interviewing Brain Gremlin dressed as Dracula. It's hilarious.
It's so silly, man. That I remember the cameraman though, Mr. Katsuji. That's Geddy Watanabe, who was the voice in Mulan. We talked about him not too long ago.
Cool.
Oh, who was he in Mulan? Ling.
Okay.
Yes. I just remembered seeing the name Geddy Watanabe and being like, I know that name. And I think, honestly, I was thinking of Ken Watanabe, but when I saw Geddy Watanabe's face, I was like, okay, I know this face too. But no, it's good. He is sadly a stereotype Asian tourist character, but he does a decent job at being hilarious. Like he's super funny. His energy, his chemistry with the vampire guy, who I sadly cannot remember.
Yeah, you'd think his name would be like right next to. It's Grandpa Fred.
That doesn't sound... It is Grandpa Fred,
It's
you're right.
Grandpa Fred.
Why?
I don't know why, but he's played by Robert Prosky, and he's great. He does the part excellently.
It's so funny.
It's so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that fucking interview scene had me rolling. You know what another thing that got me rolling very early in the movie was the fucking motion logo for Clamp Industries. When it took the world and like just smushed it, I just started fucking laughing. I was rolling so hard. I was like, why? That's so fucking funny.
It's so good, man. There's a lot of just good fucking jokes throughout the whole thing. Like they leaned into the humor so hard, and
Definitely.
throughout everything that's going on, poor Gizmo. I say poor. I also said that he deserved his torture that I was going to talk about here. He's being tortured by Mohawk, who is again voiced by the great our boy Frank Welker.
Yeah, so he's like the reincarnation of Stripe.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. It's good stuff, man. But poor Gizmo is just being tortured nonstop. All this shit's being done to him. Finally, he's had enough, and he goes berserk, baby. He once he gets free, he dresses up like Rambo.
A couple times, yeah.
And then he just goes on a rampage, baby. It's good. It's so good.
Oh,
I love it too. Imagine just like being Chris Wallace, working with the puppets, and just being like, "And now I put a fucking bandana on this one. Give him a little bow and arrow. He's so fucking cute."
Yeah, he was cute. I like. Oh, also like the first time he tried to string his like bow and arrow, he like shoots himself across the room.
He's so just cute and adorable. You can't help it.
Yeah.
My God.
The Futtermans make a reprise. Yes,
they do.
So the Murray and Sheila Futterman come to visit Bill and Kate, and it's Dick Miller again, and Jackie Joseph, I think, played Sheila in the first one, but I'm not sure.
I think so. I'm not sure.
But yeah, they're excited to see New York, and she's taking pictures of everything. And they show up a day early without letting them know that they're coming, and that's when stupid Gizmo is at their house, you know.
Yeah, as you do. You just show up early unannounced.
Yeah, in the busiest city in the world. What a good idea that is.
And also, Murray is suffering from severe PTSD.
Yes, from the Gremlins.
From the first time he met the Gremlins.
Yeah, I was for certain that the Gremlins killed the Futtermans in the first movie.
Yeah, I mean,
they got run over by a snowplow through their house.
I just don't remember that. So much in that first movie, I just don't remember.
He also there's this bit where he is drinking, which Kate moonlights at the bar serving for free. Like, she gets tips, but she's not getting paid by the bar owner just to help out.
Yeah, of course.
It's you know, it's like the only bar in town, whatever. And he gets so fucking drunk that they follow him out to his plow, and he starts getting in, and they're like, maybe Mr. Futterman, you should drive home. You should walk home tonight. And he's like, yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to walk home tonight. And he gets up and just starts walking down the street. And he just left it too close to the Gremlins, and they ran it through his house.
Poor Mr.
But
Futterman.
they're in New York now. Yeah. That's what we were getting at. Yeah. So they decide to go sightseeing because they are intruding. It's very clear. And they're also, Bill and Kate are trying to keep it from the Futtermans that the Gremlins are back, because that would fucking freak out Murray. But then,
poor guy.
But then he spots them, and then he
Which one does he spot though? That's the best part.
Yeah, go ahead. You say.
One of the gremlins gets wings and becomes this winged bat monstrosity, and it flies out the window.
It does, but it also Brain Gremlin has given it like this genetic sunblock so that it can go out into. It was an experiment, but he never came back. Yep. The bat gremlin never came back. And
yep, that's true.
But he fucking whacks it down with I don't know, was it a cane? I don't know, but he whacks it down into some wet cement and then turns on the cement mixer so that it dumps on top of him.
Yeah.
And then they go around the city and do a whole bunch of other badass things. He and Sheila do. Trying to get these gremlins because they're the only ones who know how to deal with it.
That's the best part too, is like when they get into the building, it just becomes this huge, like, we've done this before, let's finish it
again. And how they finish it,
yeah.
I'll leave to you guys. But it's great. Fucking love it when
stuff.
Daniel Clamp starts getting involved.
Yeah, he's
so funny. I told Sarah that his performance is like he took like 2 Quaaludes and then did 5 lines of cocaine. Like, it's fucking wild.
It's true, man. He's like trying to fight going to sleep.
Yeah.
By staying. I love it, man. I love it.
All right, I think we could do closing statements on this.
Yeah, I mean, I do kind of hate that one of my favorite characters is a parody of Trump.
Yeah.
But
it's so good,
he is great. He is very funny. That, of course, being Daniel Clamp, not Trump. Trump is not great.
John Glover did a good job being funny.
Yeah, for real. It really did. I love this one. This one's great. I remember a lot of the scenes. I remember the fucking electric gremlin flying around everywhere. Rambo Gizmo is phenomenal. Brain Gremlin had me laughing like crazy. Like, good shit, man. It's all funny. It's a parody of itself. They took the darkness out of this one. You know, they took the darkness away. They went comedy, and it's phenomenal. It's good. It's 3 stars. Like, it's great. Yeah. It wins the sequel smash.
I think it wins the sequel smash for sure. It's still a full face movie for me, and I'm glad I watched it. And if somebody says, "Hey, I'm gonna watch Gremlins 2," I'm not gonna be like, "Oh, but we gotta watch Gremlins first," because honestly, this is, I think, more rewatchable than Gremlins is.
And you get everything. You get all the exact same stuff. You get the rules. You get the setup. Like,
and now we gotta see
just jump on in
how the fucking TV show goes.
Yeah, I'll leave that to you. I think as I talked about this, I've decided I don't need to see the TV show.
You've had enough Gremlins,
but I'm interested in what your thought is on it, and if you think it's a great show, maybe I'll check it out. Does it even have
see how
Zach
it could
Galligan?
Be. I don't know. I didn't look, but I believe it does.
Better have Howie Mandel.
Yeah, I'd love to watch him waddle through the stage, through the set. Oh
my god! Did you know that before they settled on puppets, they initially were going to do, this is true, they were going to do monkeys. But the first test monkey that they did, they put a mask on it, and the first test monkey freaked the fuck out.
Yeah, of course.
And they decided we're not going to go with monkeys after that.
Yeah. All right. I think that is the show.
Yeah, thanks, Mother, for the potato pick recommendation. If you want to recommend an episode yourself, all you have to do is sign up at patreon.com/greenandfaceless. Mm-hmm. It's simple, it's easy, it's cheap.
It's
not that bad.
And it's just like, buying a friend a coffee every once in a while.
Yeah.
And we would really appreciate it, and it helps us keep this show going. It helps us make more of this show. And
exactly.
And we want that to happen.
Yeah. And we promise a New Year's resolution is to get on it
Yeah.
Get back on our schedule, figure it out.
Yeah.
That might mean less episodes. Maybe it just means a little bit of restructuring.
Right.
We'll figure it out. But that shouldn't stop you from going to patreon.com/greenfaceless. Get a little power over us. Everybody wants power over somebody else.
Yeah.
You can have a little power over us.
Yeah, please do.
Isn't that exciting?
I would love it if you had some power over me.
Step on me, Spuds.
Yes, please. Cover me in potatoes. Okay. That's the show again. Again, we're at the end of the show. We should have ended it before that.
Am the Green Faceless.
And I am the Leon Green.
I left you nothing.
Traveler.
I left you no adjectives. I am the Green Faceless. I am the Green Traveler from Gorsh. I'm sorry.
And I am the Faceless Leon. Also, I must have a smooth brain as well as a smooth face, because that hurt me. Safe travels and good night,
Dr. Catheter.